How you doing, Martine from the Curiosity Theory? Going live for a second time. So tonight's show is called "Keep Your Body Moving." There's an ancient Chinese proverb that I read the other day. It said, "Be not afraid of going slow. Be afraid only of stopping." And then in the play in the book where I read this, it said, "Going slow with a question mark, not a problem. Period. Stopping, big question mark." Right. So it's not about grinding it out. I used to go to the gym, the grinder gym, and work out, and I'd post all my videos. It's not about getting under heavy weights and then sweating until you can barely walk or barely even move your arms. What I've realized in today's world, it's about keeping the engine of your body healthy, fit, and full of zest. Whatever you do, the goal is to keep your body moving. Keep your body moving. So what I'm doing today is I have a couple friends. I actually have 3 friends. Hopefully they all can come back on right now and hang out with me. And we're going to talk a little bit about keeping our bodies moving. Like, what does it take? What are the disciplines? What are the different things we could do? So I'm going to bring on my buddy Rico and my friend Christine Zelliger. How you doing? Guys?
Really good. Thanks for having us.
Christine, you look all red.
Yeah, I know. I'm not sure what's happening.
You got a sunburn. But you got a suntan today. You got a sunburn today.
No, I've been inside. It's just the light in my room for some reason tonight.
You're on fire, woman.
Yes.
Oh, you trying to do a green screen?
Huh?
Are you doing a green screen?
No, it's just a little curtain to cover some mess.
I love it. Cool. Thanks for being so honest. I appreciate that. Cool. So what I'm going to do is take a minute and have you guys, each one of you, introduce yourself. I'll start with Rico, then I'll go to Christine, and then I'll go to Brittany. So Rico, tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, why, you're qualified to talk about, the topic tonight, which is, keep your body moving.
Well, I've had the good fortune to be a personal trainer and health coach here in San Diego for actually 38 years. I think that my friend and I, we opened up, I think, the very first modern personal training studio way back in 1982 in Mission Hills, and then we expanded. We had one up in Rancho Santa Fe. So I've been studying all about the body and how to keep our body fit and healthy and never become old for all these years.
That's awesome. I'm going to bring on Christine. Here you go, Christine.
Hey, hi, Martine. Thank you.
So give us a little introduction to your hot red body over there.
I don't know what's happening with that, but
awesome.
So the reason that I'm here is that I am a yoga teacher, and then I've branched off in the last 2 years, and I'm also teaching cardio fitness and water fitness as well. And one of my main goals in coming out of the corporate world into the fitness world, beyond just for my own health reasons, was to serve those populations that are typically underserved in our society, larger bodied people, seniors, people with physical disabilities, chronic conditions, because I'm a firm believer that we don't have to, as you said, Martine, grind it out. We don't have to be a slave to our workouts to age well and maintain our youth.
Awesome. Brittany, how you doing, honey? Can you tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Hello, everyone. My name is Brittany Lauren. I've been in the fitness industry for over 18 years now. Awesome. We have a private studio up in Oceanside and specialize in transformation programs. So we do the nutrition, the training element, as well as the life coaching portion. So my heart really lies in the complete transformation programs. We also have a trainer certification program. So teaching trainers how to be coaches and implementing more of the life coaching element into the health and wellness and fitness world. And we have trainers over in India, UK, kind of around the world, which is, it's wonderful to be able to go and experience different cultures and really just embody ourselves and better ourselves in different countries. And more than anything else, really realizing that no matter who we are, what culture we live in, everybody really just needs the same thing, and that human connection goes wonders, which obviously in this time period right now is kind of what life is all about. So
It sure
a
is.
little
It
bit
sure
about
is.
what I do.
I love it. I love it. You finished it up with human connection and how important that is right now. I guess I don't know if you guys heard. This is Chinese proverb, and it said, "Be not afraid of going slow. Be afraid only of stopping." And I thought that really fit really well when we're talking about, keep our bodies moving. I know when I became 55, probably when I became 53, it really started to become more apparent. And Rico's one of my best friends. We spend a lot of time together. We walk, we stretch, we do a lot of stuff. And he teaches me a lot about, just about health and stuff. And, one of the things that he always emphasizes is just moving, like our bodies have to move. So the way we're going to talk today is just everybody just kind of jump in and share your thoughts about that. So, what's it, how would you want to share, what we want to say about just being mobile, actually just moving as a body?
Should I start?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I have a saying that I like. It's movement is improvement and stillness is illness. Unless you're meditating, then stillness is good.
Yeah.
But other than that, you got to keep moving. I think it's so interesting is all the young of all species, including human beings, what are they doing? They're just jumping, moving, running, playing, enjoying their body. And so why do we lose that? Why do we lose that? Another one of my favorite sayings is, do we stop playing because we grow old, or do we grow old because we stop playing?
Mm.
So those things have so much wisdom in them. It's just like, the reason we have a body is to move, move our brain around and see what we're going to be doing, right? So it's just always. I know you guys feel the same way because you guys are in the same thing. Movement is so pleasurable and so much benefits. It's just really difficult why people have got to be so sedentary, And one more thing I want to just bring up real quick, and then you guys. I'm sure you guys all heard that sitting is the new smoking. That's how bad sitting is for you. Before we used to think that, sitting was just so long was just bad because it gave you bad posture, and maybe your back hurt and all that. But there's been medical studies now that show that sitting is a real medical problem. Because the blood pools in your legs and it slows your metabolism. It causes a strain on your heart, all kind of things. So you got to get up and not sit more than I recommend about 30 minutes and get up and move your body.
Absolutely. Mike, thanks for hanging out. Jennifer, thanks for hanging out with us. Appreciate it. Feel free to make comments and let us know where you guys are all listening from. What do you have to say about that, Brittany?
No, I was just going to say, no, that's wonderful, Rico. Great points there. I think in this time period right now that we're going through where we don't have access to the gyms, we can't necessarily do the same outdoor activities. To focus on some of the mental, emotional elements that wrap into the health and fitness, the wellness lifestyles. And a big topic that we've been addressing with our clients lately is more so like the morning routines, those morning rituals.
Mm-hmm.
To get up in the morning, what we all tend to be doing right now, I'm going to speak for about 95% of the population. The first thing we do, we jump up in the morning, you're hitting that alarm, that snooze button multiple times, and that triggers a chemical depression right away. So I think there needs to be a lot more emphasis on modifying and changing habits and focusing on those things that we all have complete control over. So starting your day off right, and what you do in the first 20 minutes of every day sets the stage for your entire day. And it's a clinically proven fact that if you hit that snooze button, you trigger those chemical depressions, and it takes you hours to actually work out of that. So, starting your day off right, as soon as that alarm goes off, get your butt up out of bed, and then, stay away from your phone first thing in the morning. But what do we all do? We check our bank accounts. We jump on social media, and our excuse is, oh, I'm just trying to wake up. I'm trying to wake my brain up. But what you're doing is you're setting the stage for depression for the rest of the day. So the first thing that people can start working on tomorrow, regardless of whether we're stuck at home or not, is changing those day-to-day habits. And just by doing that alone, we'll start to really take strides working towards those health and fitness goals. So, get up in the morning. I recommend jumping on some of your favorite podcasts, audiobooks. There's a lot of great stuff on YouTube. Personally, we've got a really amazing church that I hop on, and we've got some killer podcasts on there first thing in the morning. Even if you have some funky thoughts going on in your head, let some other people plant some great seeds for the day.
I love that. Yeah.
Stick your, plug your earphones in, play in the house, set the stage for everybody that's in the home. And, just start working on that. And then I guarantee just by doing that, which we all have complete control over, then you can get up. I personally like to get up and do cardio first thing.
I'm gonna cut you off. It's great stuff, but keep thinking about this stuff because I want to have everybody keep jumping around, Brittany. Good stuff.
No, absolutely.
Christine, what do you think? What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, no, I agree with both Rico and Brittany. And in my training, I've come to discover, it's easy to blame technology, which does play a big part to the reason that we've become so sedentary. That factoid about sedentary being more dangerous than smoking is absolutely 100% true. Also, we used to be a farming nation. People did get up with the crow of the rooster and head out to the fields to get physical in their jobs, but we became an industrialized nation. And not only did we lose our ability to physically be moving around as part of our survival or our work, we lost our posture too, because we just became lazy. We're sitting all the time. So our mobility is doubly affected by lack of movement, lack of posture. And it's so ironic that when the body's in pain, the tendency is to want to remain still to avoid the pain, when movement is a cure. If it's morning stiffness, movement's absolutely the cure. But I would offer up an additional idea to what Brittany said, which is all excellent. There are some mornings, especially now with what's going on and the emotions that are running up and down in people. I have a morning yoga bed practice. I have a practice that begins with laying in my bed. The alarm goes off. I shut it off and I start with breathing. And then I start doing twists and I pull my knees in and I put my legs up the wall. And all of a sudden I'm feeling that energy rise. And by the time my feet hit the floor, I'm pumped. I'm ready for my cardio. So another suggestion.
Those are great. Those are really great. Brittany, I didn't mean to cut you off. There's so much goodness. There's so many really powerful things out there. So Veronica Mendez says, hey, hi, Martine Lopez also says, hi, Rico Cavilla.
Hey, Veronica.
She's always awesome. So what you were going into, I like what you were saying, Brittany, because you were talking about technology. I think both you and Christine were talking about technology, how to not even have that around. Don't even jump on it, for a while. And I know Rico absolutely does not have his phone on and doesn't, check his,
Martine,
email and all that stuff.
Can I, you know what I call cell phones, right?
What do you call them?
Weapons of mass distraction.
Oh,
that's a good one, isn't it?
That's exactly what they are. That's exactly what they are.
People are so distracted. Can I add a couple of things? I wanted to say,
please,
about the morning routine that Brittany was talking about, and also Christine. As a matter of fact, as you know, Martine, I've been doing a Facebook Live at 7 o'clock on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday mornings, and showing you what my morning routine. And it's all about setting your intention for the day and doing some breathing and waking your body up and visualizing how you want your day to go. And then we do some little exercises. So Brittany was saying some things that you could do when you first get up. Well, one thing they could do, they could come to my Facebook Lives at 7 o'clock. A lot of people don't want to be up that early, but so I think it's so important, as you guys say, to start to establish a morning routine and to get you mentally and physically and spiritually prepared for the day. So I'd like you guys to tune in and check it out.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about morning routine, because anybody that I know, literally everybody I know that's successful, everybody, like there's not a single person that I know that's successful that does not have a morning routine. Like everybody has a morning routine. So how about sharing some of your philosophies about a morning routine and what do you do? Let's start with Christie.
Hello. Yeah, no, I definitely have a morning routine. And I must say that during this time of lockdown, sticking to my, what is now a modified routine, has been critically important for both my physical and my emotional, mental health. But, my morning routine, it looks like the alarm going off. Depending on how I feel, I may do some bed yoga. I always do a little breathing behind closed eyes and I'm just experience gratitude for, the best part of your day. The best thing that's going to happen to you any day is that you wake up.
I
Period. That's
love it.
it. Winner. You're alive, right?
Yeah.
Because when we pass into the other fields of consciousness, whatever they may be, you know, that's it. So celebrate each day the sheer fact of life, because it is a gift denied to many. I'll do some movement in bed, but if I'm feeling really good, I'll get right out of bed. And one of the first things I like to do each morning is I drink a cup of hot water that has turmeric, cinnamon, black pepper, and ginger in it to help cleanse my liver and work on reducing bodily inflammation. It's really important to hydrate in the morning, you know.
Let's go over those things again. So what?
Yeah.
Turmeric?
Yeah, it's a combination of, you know, purified water, turmeric, a really good high quality organic turmeric. You need the black pepper for the bioavailability of the curcumin in the turmeric. And then cinnamon, because that controls blood sugar and tastes good. And ginger, because it tastes good and it can help has antiviral, antibacterial properties. And when I have them, I'll put a squeeze of lemon in to help release toxins from the liver.
That's awesome. Do you put do you just put a slice of ginger in there? Like fresh ginger?
If I have fresh ginger, but I use a high quality organic ginger powder.
Okay.
You know, stir it up. You can add a little honey or organic maple syrup to taste if you need the sugar, but diabetes runs in my family, and so trying to work on that.
That's awesome.
Once I've got my hot drink, you know, and I've done some breathing, I'll sit down to meditate. Try to limit it to 15 minutes with all this spare time. Sometimes I find myself meditating myself into kind of a Kundalini thing where I'll come out of it because I'm doing this. You know, have you ever meditated so long that you start getting the Kundalini stuff happening? It's very cool sometimes.
Awesome.
You know, and then I'll do some yoga.
You know why I wanted each one of you on the show, because you guys are all represent like something different, you know, and something that I respect. You know, Brittany, she trains like bodybuilders, like these amazing bodybuilders, and she's competed like globally, right, Brittany? As a bodybuilder.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, she's just amazing. Her boyfriend, her husband is this massive human being that, like, you know, that this is, but just a good guy, but just very, very into fitness like you guys are. But there's all these different ways of looking at fitness, you know, like you could say like maybe some people are bigger, like I'm kind of a bigger guy, you know, and some people are thin, and there's, you know, there's like my path to where I want to get to is, you know, I'm on my path. But what I learned is not to beat myself up for where I'm at, but take at the same time, take responsibility for where I'm at. Not like just, you know, kind of act like ignore it. I'm going to share with you guys my morning routines, but I first want to hear a little bit about Brittanys and then Ricos. Thank you, Christine, for sharing that. Yeah. And I do have some questions for you about some stuff you said, Christine. But go ahead, Brittany.
That's what I say, Christine. It's wonderful that, you know, your morning routine and your gratitude starts with your breathing practice, and I think that's amazing. You have to find what works best for, you know, each individual. For me personally, I need to get up in the morning, plug something in my ears. My meditation is running as hard as I can until my brain switches off. So that's all I can think about.
Yeah, I like
it. You want to shut that subconscious off, huh?
So when you have children at home, it's very different. So for me, my meditation is more so I got to get up and move, but that's the one time that I can listen to whatever I want to feed my soul with for the day, whether it's my podcast, said audiobooks, whatever it might be. I'll plug that in my ear because I can solely focus just on that while moving my body. So for me, that works better. So I'm really I'm glad that Christine touched on that's, you know, something that works best for her. And I hear that for a lot of people that they do more of their quiet practice in the morning. So just really urging people to, you know, figure out what works best for you, and whatever elevates your hormones, boosts your mood, allows you to take that time for yourself in the morning. So that's what I do first thing, you know, jump up out of bed, take off, put, you know, my earphones in, and I go run. And that way, by the time I get back to the house, you know, I prep breakfast, take care of everybody else for the day, and get everyone, you know, off and running. So finding out whatever morning routine works best for you. If you're, you know, mom, parent, have big responsibilities, get up at that little bit earlier, because it's so worth having that, you know, one-on-one time with yourself before you start the day. Because it really, you know, a lot of times in the morning we get up going, well, I'll just do a little bit of work or a little bit of housework, and then I'll go take care of myself. We all know that doesn't work. So just sneaking out of bed and setting like realistic goals. You don't have to go for 45 minutes. You don't have to meditate for an hour. Just give yourself 5 or 10 minutes. Set those small little goals that are achievable. And I guarantee once you get in the habit of it, then you work up from there. And as Martin was saying himself, fitness is not just about the exercise and the nutrition. It's the mental, emotional aspect of it too. And especially right now, embracing the fact that there's no perfection within a transformation program. Perfection is not beating yourself up, and it's having that balance point. And when you stray from that center point, being kind to yourself and knowing what you need to do to get back to that center point. And that's different for everybody. And the thing is just, knowing those little tips and tricks and tools of how to reground ourselves and what we need to do to feel normalized again. And at the root of everything is, again, just kindness to ourselves and, it's allowing to go with the flow of life.
I
Brittany,
love that.
Can I ask Brittany?
Yeah, please.
As a trainer of, deadlifters, I imagine, full on weightlifting athletes, what
deadlifters.
What does it look like for you in the morning before you're doing such a high power workout? Are you hydrating? Are you putting any food into your body to have something to burn? There's a whole.
So first thing in the morning, I always say for doing cardio on an empty stomach is absolutely amazing. Because it allows your body to detoxify. That's when I really, pound my water. And like you mentioned, I'll take the, some greens, that kind of thing, apple cider vinegar. So that helps push all those toxins out of your body. So when you're sleeping at night, that's when your body's opportunity that, water can very easily pass to your system. But you need to get up in the morning and flat it out. What a lot of people do is they'll get up, have their food, coffee, donuts, whatever, and those toxins are going to reabsorb back into your system. So that's why I like to do cardio on an empty stomach. Now, I don't recommend ever lifting on an empty stomach though, because that's when that can spike your.
I'm going to ask you to go back and do that again, Brittany. That was awesome. I'm going to ask you to repeat that because that was so golden. Okay, so empty stomach. Let's go over that again really quick because I think that's super important.
It is.
Yes, an empty stomach cardio, and then take your water with you. So, pounding your water, flush your system, get those toxins out of your body. So cardio on empty stomach's amazing, yoga, that kind of thing. But never ever lift on an empty stomach because when you lift, it creates tiny little tears in your muscles, and that will spike your cortisol levels, which is your hormone. So complete polar opposite of what you're trying to achieve by lifting. So cardio on empty stomach is definite plus, but never lift on an empty stomach.
Thank you. That's really good information.
I love Josh. Josh, he's going to be, I think tomorrow night he's going to be on the show. And he said, someone's going to go through his what he said. He goes, I lift on an empty stomach. And then you said, don't do that.
Hi, Josh. He's on my Facebook too.
He said, holy crap.
So another point too as well. So to give you guys a quick little tip about fat burning, because yes, I train competitors, but my heart and my passion lies in transformation programs. I love working with people from all different walks of life. Like really, that's actually my core clientele is more of the transformation clients. When you do cardio on an empty stomach, your body starts to tap into fat burning after 5 minutes.
Wow.
Because your insulin levels are low. Now, if you've eaten like carbohydrates or you have your breakfast, you're still burning calories. So yes, cardio is still effective in terms of calorie burning, but it takes your body 25 minutes to kick into fat burning on average if you've spiked your insulin. So like I said before, getting up in the morning and doing a 10-15 minute walk when it's on an empty stomach, you're tapping into those fat stores after 5 minutes. So yes, it's absolutely still beneficial. So that's why I said that empty stomach cardio in the morning is huge. So yeah, get up in the morning, and anybody can walk for 10 or 15 minutes or do jumping jacks in your living room right now for 10 or 15 minutes, either or. Whatever life permits us for us to do.
I love it.
So yes, cardio on empty stomach is absolutely amazing.
I love that. That's huge. That's really great. I didn't even know that. I didn't know that. Rico, what do you have to say? What's your morning routine like?
Well, first of all, I totally agree with what you guys have been saying. That's absolutely right. Well, I'm kind of like Christine. Before I get out of bed, well, first of all, I think it's important to I set a little intention for the day. It could be nothing more than today's going to be a great day. Most people wake up and they think, oh shit, what I got to do today, and it's going to be, and then that's the state you're in, right? So you got to set your state. So say today is going to be a great day, and I'll do a little stretching too. Maybe bring like Christine said, bring my knees to my chest, and then I'll get up and I'll drink some water. And do some breathing, and like say now when I'm doing my little Facebook Live for people, again I think it's important to take it. Well, first of all, what I wanted to say first of all was, I think the main point here is that you do need to take some time for yourself, some self-care first thing in the morning. Otherwise, you start getting busy. Like say if you have children, and then you're never going to do it, right? And then you feel frazzled all the time, So get up early enough so that you do take some time for yourself to center yourself, and so you can feel good both mentally and physically to start your day. Otherwise, that's why your day is probably not going to go very well, right? If you're not feeling really positive and optimistic and grateful. So start off with a really good intention for the day and visualize how you want your day to go. Think about the main things that you're going to be doing, and so if you visualize how you want them to turn out, then you can be proactive instead of being reactive, just responding to things. So really visualize what you want to happen, and then do something to warm up your body. I have a whole warm up routine that we go through, like using my vitality stick or many different things, but do some kind of a warm up, so your muscles and your connective tissues are warmed up and loosened up so you don't go out and injure yourself. So it's just so important to establish something like that. So, you breathe, you hydrate, you set some intention, you do a little bit of movement. And so then you can feel really alive and awake and ready to go out and have a powerful day.
That's awesome. Well, I'll share a little bit what I do. I have, I use Brendan Bouchard's book, his High Performance Planner. And every morning, the first question I ask myself is, what's today's message to myself? I ask that question. I just get up and I start stretching, and the first question I ask is, what's today's message to myself? Today I wrote, you have a big heart. That was the message to myself. Second question I ask is, one thing I can get excited about today. What's one thing I can get excited? Well, I started juicing again. So I got that. So I'm juicing. I got opportunities. And I like what you were saying, Brittany, is you got to have a conversation, not just be in the conversation you had yesterday, but how can you trigger a new conversation with new thoughts that are going to forward you into moving in the direction you want to move? And do you even know the direction that you want to move? Do you know what that direction is? Do you know what your goals are and what your aspirations are? Someone, it said, the third question is, someone needs me to be on my A game today.
Yeah.
I have a client, his name's Drew. Drew needed me to be on my A game today. And I have a lot of different clients, but there was one client in particular. For Drew, I needed to be on my A game today. So that was it. And then what are the top 3 goals and priorities that I have? So that's just some of the questions I ask myself. And my morning routine is it's yoga, meditation, gratitude, and then my planner. That's my morning routine. It's what I always do. And I get up around 4 o'clock. For some reason, I just wake up at 4 o'clock. I probably use an alarm maybe 3 or 4 times a year. I will set an alarm, but I don't think probably in the last 10 years, I may have woken up maybe one time to an alarm. I always wake up on my own. And I just think it's really, really important to be real clear the night before. I mean, the morning routine is built on the night before. So my routine in the morning. So the other half of the book is my shutdown. It's my evening journal. Like a moment. So one of the questions I ask is, what's a moment that I really appreciate today? Like, what is that? Like, ask yourself those questions when you go to sleep. Like, what do you appreciate about today? What's a moment that you appreciate today? Like, I'll say today, I can tell you right now, it'll be spending the time with you 3. That'll be this. And I consider this hour a moment.
Is that about being curious, Martin?
It requires being curious, because it's not like when you're asking yourself questions, you're being curious, but they actually require you to think through it, to be curious, to come up with the answer, not to have like like this is the canned answer I had yesterday, but to actually curiously look. And I think that's kind of like what you were saying. For my version of what you were saying, Brittany, is there's a message out there, whether it's from your pastor, or whether it's, from, like Christie, some of the stuff you listen to, or Rico. I know, what's the guy you listen to, Rico? What's his name?
You mean the channel of
Yeah,
Cryon?
the channel, yeah.
Yeah, Cryon.
Cryon. And then
You guys know who Cryon is? No?
he's a pretty cool guy. Rico listens to him all the time. He
It's not a
always
guy.
puts me on to Cryon. And then
not a
Christine,
guy.
you do a lot of
It's not a guy.
what do you call it? Esther Hicks, right?
Yeah, it's Abraham. Yeah, their
Yeah,
channels. Their
Yeah.
channels from Source. I believe it's true. Yeah.
So there's a lot of things like that. So, I think that morning routine is fabulous. Let's go on to like the middle of the day. Let's say we all did a great morning routine, or going into the middle of the day. We kind of done all the stuff in the morning, comes around noon, 1 o'clock or something. What do you guys do? What's your midday routine, or what can you count on yourselves to do, like pretty much ongoingly in the middle of the day, to keep you guys going, keep your energy? Because I know, Brittany, you work until late at night. You got 2 kids, you got a new baby, and you grind it out. And I know, Christine, you're teaching yoga classes. Rico, you have personal clients. You do a lot of blogging. You do a lot of videos and stuff. Let's start first with Rico. Like, what's your midday routine to keep and what is it? What is the focus of your midday? Also, like, is it about keeping your blood going? What is it?
Yeah, eat, man. You got to eat. Well, I do. Again, everybody's so different. But I have a high metabolism, and my blood sugar can get low, so I can eat a lot of calories. So that's a good thing for me. So I make all my own food, and so it does take a little time. But you got to get it organized, and so I always, I hardly ever miss a meal, because I like to eat, man, and my body requires that, So I make sure that I prepare a good balance, protein and some healthy fats and some greens and all those sort of things. And then, midday. And I have a thing, I think I have a saying that when you eat, just eat. So many people, the old thing about a bit like a businessman lunch is one of the worst things ever invented, because you're not focused on eating, and you shouldn't watch TV. You shouldn't look at your phone. You shouldn't be doing anything when you're eating. Just when you eat, just eat. So then what the benefit of that is, not only will you enjoy your food better, you can slow down and chew your food better, but also you won't tend to overeat, because then there's a thing in our brain called the apostat that lets us know when we're satisfied, we had enough. But if you're distracted, that's why you just keep on eating and you overeat. But to eat slowly and focus on your food and be grateful for it, you won't tend to overeat. So that's the main focus for me, and right there in the middle of the day is to eat with awareness, eating awareness techniques.
Rico, you shared with me something probably 10, 20 years ago. We said if it takes more energy to digest your food or something.
Yeah, one of the reasons, people, I ask this question whenever I speak to a group. I say, do you ever feel a little bit tired after you eat? And almost everybody raises their hand, right? And there's basically 2 reasons for it. Either, first of all, you probably overate, so all the blood rushes to your stomach. That's why you feel tired. But one of the reasons is, it takes a certain amount of energy to digest and absorb and digest and eliminate the food you take in, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're eating really like a lot of fast junk food that's pretty much devoid of nutrients, you can actually be on a deficit. In other words, it takes more energy to just take in the food and get rid of it than the energy that it has in the food. Yeah.
Linda says, I was eating while watching you guys. Great tip, Rico.
Were we eating some potato chips?
That's kind of one of the funniest things about this, because
nice one, Linda.
That's classic. You tell people, get off your social media, but we're on social media. Brittany, what do you do? What's your midday routine? You got 2 kids, you got a husband, you got a whole business. What's
I have such an amazingly blessed life, but it is very, very full. One thing, interestingly enough, lately I've been studying a lot of, and what European countries have actually implemented, is that we tend to be more productive, which we all know, in the morning and in the evening. Yet we have, a lot of people have these 9 to 5 work days. And so we try to schedule our days to have, full work days and push through the middle part of the day. And I've actually learned, and thankfully enough, I've got a flexible schedule. So for myself, I'd rather get up in the morning early, push hard, jam as much work as I can in the morning while I have higher energy. So I actually during the day is actually more of my inward time. Well, I'll go home and that's where I'll regroup. I'll sit down quietly, have my lunch and things at that point, do a little bit more quiet reading or planning, client programs, that kind of thing, more of my computer kind of work during the day. And then, because I primarily work with people morning and evening, and same thing, whether I'm doing phone calls, online, Zoom programming, that kind of thing. So I've learned to kind of slow down and be kind to myself more during the middle of the day, as opposed to try and push hard, because I found that it's just not a productive time of day for me personally. So I give myself that grace, midday-ish and mid-afternoon before I go pick the second kiddo in the afternoon. It allows me to be recharged to be able to get through my evening routine, working with clients and, homework and all that fun stuff.
How do you pivot from everything? Like, what's your process to pivot from like kids, clients, husband, self? How do you mentally pivot? I've known you for, I don't know what, 6-7 years, and you've always been you're definitely driven, but you have the ability, you think about so many different things, you balance so many things. What's your philosophy about that?
Honestly, I think being very rooted in gratitude as much as possible, believe it or not. So it's like, as before my husband comes home, I think, okay, I want to make him feel as honored and as special as possible. And I think the impact of like the first 10 or 15 minutes when you either pick a child up from school, regardless of how my day has been, you want to turn that attention to them. So what can I do in that first 5, 10, 15 minutes to make them feel like they're important, and I want to listen to how their day is, because it really sets the stage. Same thing with our morning routine. We have the opportunity to ground them and make them feel good in that little bit of time that we get to connect with them, no matter what time of day it is. So just more so cool. Being grateful for having them in our lives and just putting our feelings aside, because I've realized that, as we all very well know, we can only control our own personal feelings. And when we have the ability to, help make somebody else feel better or grounded or be in control of the tone in your home, by just putting that energy and that mood out there, really sets the stage for whatever time of day it may be.
I love it. Linda says, women do that. We're pivoters.
Yes. Very much so.
Linda's a lot like you, Brittany. She just is on the go. She's got so many things happening so much. She's definitely somebody you want to connect with. Christine, what is your kind of midday routine? What do you do in the middle of the day?
Well, like Brittany, my teachings mostly occur in the morning and in the evening, so I have a flexible schedule, but it does make for a very long day. Sometimes I'm starting my first class at 8 a.m. and ending my last class at 9 at night. So the middle of the day has become kind of my time, and I follow a couple of key points. Nourishment, really important. I try to eat my largest meal of the day around lunchtime, because at night I usually don't want to eat a huge meal. I try to go somewhere and do that nourishment in nature. I'm a huge fan of Mission Bay Park. I'll drag my chair in the back of my car and set myself up and get some sun or take a walk. I often nap. As kids, we're resistant to naps, but I'll tell you what, I've become good. A power nap, bring it. I am working hard to fill my sleep deficit 15 and 30 minutes at a pop. You know what I'm saying?
That's awesome.
And to take a nap in nature is also really beautiful for me. I really enjoy that. And then I pursue knowledge for myself. So I'm using that middle of the day to finish up some certificates that I'm chasing down right now, to read my philosophy books that I enjoy, to study the great yoga masters, or whatever knowledge I'm putting in my brain at that time. So nourishment, nature, naps, and knowledge.
Wow.
N-N-N-K.
We can spell knowledge with an N and make it a fourth N.
I was going to say, could we just, for fun? Knowledge.
Exactly. Knowledge.
Knowledge. But it really helps. And then by the time I've had my nap and I've ate, and I'll do a little bit of stretching and breathing to recover from the nap, I'm fired up and ready to bring my A game for my night students who really need me because they're coming out of a stressful 10, God knows how long hour day at their jobs or, with their families, and they need a break.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love the nourishment and all that, and how you approached it, like, going out into nature and doing that and taking the time, which sounds like the same thing that Rico's doing, taking the time to be present with his food. And then Brittany talking about.
Hello, it's Rico Cavelia of Ageless Living Lifestyle. Please leave your name and number, and I'll call you back as soon as I can.
And then I wrote a note, so I forgot what you said exactly.
Rico,
Brittany, it was like,
yeah, give me a call for a minute when you get chance.
Rico's old school. That's what you got to know that about Rico.
Sorry.
Is I like how you talked about is about you spend time. You were saying you spend time for yourself in the middle of the day, in that middle of the day. Cool. That's really awesome. I can't even read my own writing, but I know that was a good note. You said inward time. Inward time.
Yeah, inward time.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's another opportunity to take some meditation, and like Brittany was saying, my meditation isn't always seated on my cushion. I do like the challenge. I'm a person who needs that. I got massive monkey mind. I got crazy Geminis with their own Gemini twins battling it out in my brain all the time. And so oftentimes my walks along the bay or through the parks are mindfulness walks. It's a meditation and movement where there's no phone out. I'm looking at the sky. I'm looking at the trees. And yes, Christine will readily in front of anybody. I do not care. I hug trees all the time. I love to connect with that, the energy of these wise creatures, living things that have been around hundreds of years. There's just a powerful energy that comes from nature if you allow it. And it's healing. We're born in nature. We're supposed to be in nature. We're not meant to live in gigantic cities of cement under our feet all the time and in air conditioned, temperature controlled. We're supposed to be out in nature with the sun and the wind and the elements.
That's awesome. I know Rico's thinking when you talk about hugging the trees, he's
Yeah.
cracking up at me because I call Rico my tree hugger friend, right, Rico? And he goes,
Yeah, absolutely. I think most people don't really be aware that without trees we would be dead. I mean, we get most of our oxygen from trees. We couldn't live without trees,
Yeah,
absolutely. So your trees are my friends. So I have favorite trees around San Diego, and one of them is there's a lot of them in Mission Bay Park. I'd probably pass you. I'm an inline skater. I skate a lot. So I skate at Mission Bay Park. I'd probably pass you walking in the park, skating. I'm gonna look for you. I'm gonna look for you now. But at Liberty Stations, that big park. You guys been to Liberty Station? That big park there they have there, by the channel comes in there, and the sidewalks they have really smooth sidewalks, really good for skating. But there's one beautiful big symmetrical tree. It's like my favorite tree, so I go to visit it. Say hello to it.
I love it.
That's cool.
I'm gonna give him a hard time about that later, though.
Well, my favorite tree in San Diego is the Fig Morton in Balboa Park. There's a history. When I was a child, we were allowed to actually
climb on that
the
thing.
tree.
Yeah, I remember.
But I'm exciting. If you're not aware, the last time I was in Balboa Park, there are plans in place. The problem with the tree is not kids climbing it, was not damaging the limb. It's standing on the roots hurts the tree. They're building this really cool walking deck around the tree, so we will once again be able to go up and hug that tree. I cannot wait.
That's awesome.
I would be the first in line to hang off a branch of that tree. Trust me.
You're gonna get tickets. What I'm posting under like as a ticker, the just so you guys all know, like right here with Brittany Lauren, with Brittany, I'm putting Fit Images. That's her @ So if you do the @ at Fit Images, it'll take you to her Facebook site. If you go to Ricos, I think I just put Ageless Living Lifestyle. He doesn't have an @ on his. And if you go to Peace Always Yoga and Meditation, you can hang out with Christine. So let's talk about our wind down. At nighttime, it's our wind down routine. There's always, and it's kind of like a cycle. We wake up in the morning, but what did we do the night before? Like, how do we wind down, and then how do we then prepare for the morning at night? It's 8 o'clock, about 8:12 right now. So, in a little while. So I'm just going to start winding down. So I'll tell you. So let's start with Rico. What's your evening wind down look like? And I'm interested in, like, the whole idea is how we keep our bodies moving and how we, like, what do you do for nutrition? What do you do for your mind, your body, and all that?
Yeah, I think it's so important to understand that, we're all, our whole life is in cycles, like circadian rhythms. And basically, when the sun comes up, our body wakes up and our hormonal system kicks in, and we should be out moving and doing a lot of things, being really active in the daytime. And when the sun goes down, it's really time to slow down. But, again, with technology and all the lights and all the things, people stay up at all the blue lights, and that's why that's caused a lot of problems. Too many people can't sleep well because of all that. So actually, I try and get as much stuff done during the daytime as possible, because in the evening I like to chill out and enjoy myself. Play some music, play drums. Have
There's drums back there. He's a really good drummer.
Oh, it's too dark. You can't see him. Yeah, you can see
the symbols over there.
Can you see him? Anyway, so after I have and you should eat your last meal a minimum of 2 hours before you go to bed. Maybe 3 hours would even be better. Not eat so your body has time to digest and absorb that food, so you can get into the restoration period when you sleep, instead of trying to digest more food. So it's really bad to eat late at night, and you want to start to slow down and do something enjoyable. Every day. Here's the thing that I came up with. I have one of my ebooks is called Real Success, Real Fast, Real Happiness, Real Success, Real Fast. And it's all about how to plan your day, so you're doing all the things pretty much that you really want to accomplish, and also to enjoy. So many people just work real hard now, and I'll do all this stress, and maybe later then I can go do these fun things. But you're not living right now. Today, you got to live today, and you got to do some fun things every day. You got to do some work. You got to work on your relationships. You got to work on your health. You got to work on all those things. So have some fun. So in the evening, well, I have fun all during the day too, but in the evening, I like to slow down and, like to listen to the music, or, correspond with friends, do some things like that. And then what I try and teach my clients is, I probably you guys have the same experience. It's easier to get your clients to do some aerobic activity or some strength, but stretching, I don't know why they just can't seem to get into it. I said, "Did you do your stretcher?" They go, "Oh, no, I forgot." So I came up with this thing that before you go to bed, just take like 15 minutes, get down on the floor and do a little stretching routine. And that also helps you to relax, and slow down, and quiet your mind, so you'll sleep better. But then also, if you do that on a regular basis, just 15 minutes of maybe about 6 or 7 stretches will keep you flexible as well. So I always try and do that myself. So I like to just chill out and do some things and let go of all the day's activities. And
awesome.
Otherwise, your life just passes you by, right? And
it sure does.
Every day you got to have some fun and enjoy yourself.
I love it. Christine, what do you do? How do you wind down?
Well, in a general way, I typically, I have that light meal. I have a lighter meal, and I do try to eat it a couple hours before bed. I love those electric flame candles and things. So as the night goes on, I progressively start turning off the room lights and lighting up my little low flame candles to start bringing myself down as I'm preparing to go to bed. I usually will read. Sometimes lately, with all this social distancing and stuff, there have been a few nights where I just was losing my crap. So I got up and put on my headset and danced it out to techno for like a half an hour, and then went to bed, which is unusual for me, but it's helped in this time. More often than not, I will try to find some pleasant thing to watch. And I'm a person that I have Hulu, I have Amazon Prime, I have Disney Plus, and I have Netflix. And I can search for an hour and not find one thing that's not violent or bloody. I don't want to put that stuff in my brain. I'm very, very careful these days about what I let into my brain before I lay down to sleep. So if I simply cannot find anything that's like a light comedy or something like that, something that doesn't bring out my divorced 50-year-old snarky chick because it's a romantic comedy and you're like, fuck you. Sorry, but you know what I'm saying? That'll never happen. But I have a whole list on YouTube of these wonderful guided meditations and ambient music with binaural beats. And so if I'm really just not finding the peace I need, then I'll leave one of my favorite candle lights. It's a chakra one, so it runs through all the chakra colors.
Oh, wow.
And I'll listen to one of those meditations until I fall asleep. But
That's
I would
wonderful.
encourage everybody out there, you know, start cutting the lights, put your devices down. And if you are watching something, be very careful about what it is you put in your brain the very last thing before you go to sleep, because it can keep you awake. It can cause you to have really unwanted dreams.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. I'll tell you a funny story about that. What is that? That Walking Dead. I got into that Walking Dead series one time, you know, and I just would binge it at night, you know, and I remember I'd get in my car if it was dark, and I'm thinking, like, do I have a hatchet in the back of my car in case I get attacked by zombies? You know, our brains just take that and just run with it. That's kind of like what Brittany was saying at the very beginning. You know, you just got to put goodness in your brain, because if you leave your brain up, you know, if you let your brain do what it wants to do, forget it, man. You're in trouble. It's gonna just do whatever. Brittany, what do you do at night? What's your kind of wind down and routine?
I love your both Christine and Rico's points. It's absolutely wonderful. My life is a little different to where there's a certain stages and levels. Schedules never happen. I intend on having a schedule, but obviously feed the family first. Attempt to get the children in bed at a decent time. You know, disconnect the best I can, read books, all that fun stuff, and take care of them first and foremost. But then when it comes to myself, I'm actually finishing a psychology degree, so I knock out a little bit of schoolwork.
Wow. As if you don't have enough on your plate, right?
You go, girl.
But the most important thing for myself, I mean, two key elements. My husband works relatively all over the place sort of schedule, especially right now. So I connect with him, whether it's on the phone or we, you know, just hang out and have some quiet time together, just listen to each other's day. That's really important for both of us, I think, to be heard and, you know, just voice whatever we had going on for the day. And we kind of talk about our plans for the next day. So that helps get my head sort of straight, you know, thinking about what I'm going to do, jumping up the next morning. And then from there, for me personally, I dive into my Bible. So whether that's, you're reflecting on if my day didn't go according to plan, if I need a little bit of grounding, it's a really great tool for me to find some gratitude or make some sense in my day. And so puts my mind at ease there. And then, you know, or if it's a great day, you know, reflecting on the good that's happened throughout the day. So whether, you know, again, everything went according to plan, that's just a really great tool for me to help put my mind at ease for the evening and be able to sleep at peace. So it's my personal tool of basically gratitude and grounding before I go to bed.
I love it. That seems to be your full message. It's like, it's really interesting because, you know, for me, I want to talk, you know, keep your body moving, keep your mind moving, all that stuff. And it really is like life is really driven by our philosophies, and we all have different ways to approach things. You know, like, how do we get up in the morning? How do we just get up in the morning and make things happen? Well, you know, there's the body part of there's the body part, which is like my physical body, to go for a walk, do yoga, go for a run, like you're saying, Brittany. That's one part of it. Really, that's really the second part of it. The one part of it is like right here. You know, it's our heart and our mind. It's like, where are we coming from? Yeah. Are we stepping into fear? Am I nervous? Stretching? Am I, you know, like, scared? Am I dealing with depression? Am I dealing with excitement? Like, what's really going on? And what all three of you said, and I think this is what you guys said, is it's really what you feed your mind, and then you can feed your body secondly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, we know so much now from science that what manifests in our physical body begins in our mental, emotional state. So really, like transformation and wellness, really, it's the mental aspect is really the most important thing, and our belief systems and our feelings. We're feeling beings, right? So it's so important to get a handle on what you're believing, what you're thinking, because that's what creates how you feel, and then that creates what the actions that you take. So yeah, the the mental, emotional, and the spiritual aspect of your life is what we really need to focus on. And all the other things are just tools and things to do. But that's the most important. Absolutely.
Absolutely. So I'll share with you, like I was kind of sharing with you a little bit about my my morning routine, and then kind of a little bit about my, my shutdown routine. I actually have in the curiosity theory, in like the master classes that I teach, I call it recovery. I call it recovery. To me, the most important part of our life, and I find for my personally my life, is not the doing. It's not all that stuff. It's the recovery process. It's how I do my shutdown. You have no audio, so you're out of audio there, Brittany. Your audio is dead.
Oops.
Okay, she's saying she doesn't have any audio. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
I can hear you.
I can hear it.
Brittany's saying she just sent me a thing saying she doesn't have any audio. So there's something called flow, and I teach the 4 stages of flow. The first one's struggle release, and there's actually getting into flow. So struggle is kind of like those thoughts when you wake up in the morning, like I don't feel like getting up. And at one point, when you actually take your feet out of the bed and they touch the floor, that's the release process. And like Brittany says, she just goes running. Like it's like that's getting from the struggle to the release really quick and getting straight into flow. Christine was talking about how she turns her feet up against the wall and she starts stretching. She pulls her knees to her chest. She starts stretching. She starts doing those things. That's the thoughts that you have before you do that are the struggle and the release. The goal that I find and what I teach in the curiosity theory in our masterclass is getting through the struggle and the release process as quick as possible, and then getting into the flow process. Now that sounds easy. That sounds like super easy. Like, oh, that should be real easy, but it's not easy. It becomes more easy, or it becomes easier when you work through what I call the recovery process. Because in the recovery process, that's when you teach yourself that, getting up in the morning and praying or reading your Bible at night is what gives your life the gratitude. So then the next night, when it comes to like, oh, I want to watch this show, or maybe I'll take, Brittany, you take a few minutes with your Bible and you open it up, because the goodness that you had the night before anchors in doing it again. The running before and that success, that euphoria, that feeling, those endorphins going the day before is what gives you energy and takes you through the struggle release process faster. Am I right on that?
And I think more than anything else too is like, especially in this time period, learning to have flexibility with ourselves. And whether it's your nutrition program, your exercise program, just overall just being kind to yourself. So having gratitude for the good and the challenging time period. Like as of right now, as I mentioned the other day with our business, we own a gym. So we're in one of those businesses right now that we have overhead. It's not a matter of just not having income, which is fine, because you know what, I've been through some really hard struggles and challenges in life, and at the end of the day, it's just money, because I know for a fact that I'm living in my true purpose. And regardless of whatever happens with the gym, I will always work with people and of what we do, and never lose regardless of what happens to the money stuff and things on the surface. So even this time period right now, really taking that time going, it's okay, whatever happens, and having gratitude for what's in front of us, having the opportunity to spend time with our family and our friends and jump on, because realistically, even jumping on with you guys on Zoom tonight, I wouldn't be able to do this if I had my business open right now, because I'd still be at work.
Yeah.
So there's so much beauty and so much good, and I think we just get too wrapped up in what's going on with the virus, or the politicians, or what everybody else is saying. And really, instead, we should be focusing on what's in front of our face.
Yeah.
And, once we shift our energy and our focus to that, then a lot of that heaviness, a lot of that fear, and that stuff is so suffocating. And health-wise, that's terrible for our health. And that's really poisoning us more than this virus could ever poison us. So hopefully, once things lift in this time period, that our new normal, we take the beauty that's imparted in this time period, and it be part of our new normal practice. And that's what I, really pray for everybody, that this time period where we've had to slow down, to carry that over,
Yeah.
and embrace that moving forward, because I think a lot of the issues in this country is the disconnect of humanity, is a disconnect of, human connection, because that's the root of our health and wellness. And that's the root of, what we do as fitness instructors. It's not the training. It's the people want to connect. They want to feel like they're important and that they're loved and that they matter. And as I mentioned earlier, regardless of where we live around the world, everybody wants to feel like, there's somebody. And that's, really what I think we should take out of this whole entire time period that we're going through right now, and embrace that element with our health, fitness, lifestyle, and within our families and loved ones.
Yeah, if I could just add something to that.
That's beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so totally agree. And I actually think this is actually good. I mean, obviously the people that are suffering and some people are dying and all that things, it's tough for those families. But really, it's unfortunately, but this is something that we actually need. So this is an opportunity to talk about recovery. I think this is a time for us to really recover from the way we've been living. That's just not sustainable in our economy and our relationships and our health, how bad the health is on most people in America. So we really need this time. And I'm hopefully, like you were saying, Brittany, that this is going to be an opportunity for people to really wake up a little bit and realize that we've really been off track, how things are. And so maybe they'll realize how much important our health is, how much more important good relationships are, and how important that we need to take this time to reflect on really what's going on in our life. So this is a really good opportunity to recover from the way we've been living, that it's not really been serving most people in the world as well. So I think this is just really going to be good. I wrote a piece called "Focus on the Silver Lining" from this. I did a podcast on that too. By the way, if anyone wants to check out my podcast, you can go to. It's called Fearless Aging. It's on iTunes and all the podcasts. So check out my
Awesome. I'm gonna ask you to put it in the comments. Brittany, you know Tara too?
Hi, Tara.
I've known Tara for like 30 years, probably.
Yes, she's amazing. Hi, Tara.
Well, I'll tell you a funny story. So I ran into her about 3 months ago or so. We at an event or something, and when I knew her, she actually sketched a picture of me when I was like 20 years old or something, and she still had it. She had this picture of me, and I had my hair slicked back and stuff. It's so great. And she was with a kid, so it's so funny. Yeah, Tara's awesome. She's terrific. How you doing, kiddo? Christine.
Hello.
Final words.
Final words.
I think that's what we got from Brittany and Rico. These final,
Yeah. I feel like that. What Rico and Brittany so beautifully said. That's a whole nother conversation. But I agree 100% that if we return to status quo after this time, it's just a huge mistake. And, we're seeing what's happening outside right now. The earth is healing. I'm sorry to say it, but you know what the problem with the planet is? Us, humans. We are the freaking problem. And we're seeing proof positive of that right now. And I know for myself that being forced into this quarantine has caused me to really push the envelope on my business in ways that I've been procrastinating about. I'm filming more. I'm working on a 2 series where I'm going to be doing a minute of peace. So it'll be one pose or one exercise in a minute. I'm working on a series where classes would have 3 levels because I'm the great modifier. It's allowing me the time to strategize and to put the stuff together and to be online like this. I think the world can change for the better, that we can come out of this, many of us, stronger, more passionate, and living in a way that's more sustainable, right, Rico, where it's good for the planet, it's good for the body, it's good for the mind. Brittany, where it's good for peace, for harmony, where people of all walks of life, all faiths, all religions, all colors, in the end, none of that shit matters. There's 8 billion people on the planet now, and we're all connected by our shared humanity. And, I think a lot of us are waking up right now and questioning, and that's a good thing. So I hope it continues and that there's a new normal going forward, which is not where we came from.
Absolutely. The opportunity is to take a couple steps up and then find ourselves at a new plateau. And it's okay to find ourselves in a new plateau. And then that's where we recover. It's all, for me, it's all about recovery. Like I'll take a couple steps up and then maybe I'll take a breath. I'll sit there and I'll breathe a little bit. I'll like in Brittany's words, take gratitude, spend some time in gratitude. Christine, enjoy nature. Rico, hug a tree,
Hey, Martina, I want to congratulate you for putting this together. I think this was really awesome. I think this should go viral, shouldn't it?
Let's
get this viral. People should listen to all this.
Yeah.
I think we did pretty good.
I think we did terrific. So
you guys were good. You guys were good. Yeah.
The whole thing tonight is really about keeping our body moving, and it's going fast or going slow. That's not a problem. Stopping is the problem.
Yeah.
We're all facing. This is like literally everybody on the planet is facing. They might, whether they admit it or not, what could be some bad news, something not good happening, and this is what we built ourselves. Think about this, guys. Our whole lives, not just us three here, us four here, but everybody that's listening. You spent your life building yourself as the strongest person you could be. Some people are still working on stuff, which I think everybody is. Some people, feel themselves like they're Superman. Some people feel themselves as victims. Whatever place you come from, wherever you're at, you've been building yourself to be a stronger person. None of us have been building ourselves to be a weaker person. We've all been working to build ourselves stronger. Maybe some of us struggle with certain things.
On that point.
Yeah.
Just as I'm thinking, as you're talking right now.
Yeah.
One of the podcasts that I was listening to the other day, for everybody listening out there, the people that you're saying, are experiencing feelings of that they're a victim in this time period, us being at home has really taken off the mask. So if you're struggling with the anxiety, the depression, eating disorders, dysfunction in the home, it's not that, it's the quarantine that's making me do this. No, it's the opportunity to address those things that have been not being allowed to be addressed because we use the gym as a mask, or we use, work or food or whatever it may be going on, social settings, that it's a blessing. So don't blame it on the quarantine. Go, hey, I need to address these things in this time period. And if you're stuck, reach out. There's so many beautiful tools out there in front of you. And look at this, the time period of, yes, if I'm feeling anxiety, if I'm feeling depression, those things have always been there. So take charge of that now. If you're having conflict at home with your spouse, I can honestly say, thank God. And, we as fitness professionals, you, Martine, like, we're not in this place of gratitude and we're so happy and we're so this because life has been always good. No, I know for a fact, without each of you saying, that we've been drugged through the mud and then some to hit this point. And it's a blessing. And we're so grateful now. And I'll tell you what, and Martine knows very well himself that, I've hit rock bottom, not by choice, but it was a gift from God.
I've been there with you. Yeah.
Down at rock bottom.
And so,
talking every day.
This time period and reaching out to people that you look at as mentors. So if you're struggling, address those things. Don't hide from those things. Don't blame the virus. Don't blame the politicians. Don't blame the quarantine. Fix your stuff. Fix it.
Yeah.
That's the new song. Remember the song, Don't Blame It on the Alcohol? Now it's going to be, Don't Blame It on the Quarantine. I love that, Brittany. I think,
it's time to address those things.
Great words. Hey, guys, thanks for hanging out. I'm going to finish up with some final words here. Thank you, guys. I love all three of you. I really appreciate you guys. Are absolute inspiration. Guys, keep following Christine, Brittany, and Rico. They all bring their own goodness to you. And thank you, guys. If you guys wouldn't mind going back, posting your links and everything here in the comments, I'd appreciate it. And we'll definitely talk real soon. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you, Martine.
Right. Thanks, Martine. Thank you.
Hey, guys.
Bye.
So, there's a lot of really, really cool things. I think the one thing that there's a lot of things that stuck out. One of the things that I love that stuck out is what Rico said is stop playing because we're getting old. Do we stop playing because we're getting old, or do we grow old because we stop playing? Keep yourself moving. Whatever's happening with you guys, whatever you're going through, reach out. There's people in the world there's friends, there's people that are open. You know, be vulnerable. Like who's the gal that talks about vulnerability, and you know, be vulnerable, be willing to put yourself out there. You know, a lot of you guys know me to be a guy that talks, and a lot of people say, well, you're very, very courageous. No, this is not easy for me to get out and start sharing and inviting people. This is my version of vulnerability, to share what I'm going through, and then you know, try to sound somewhat smart. So guys, just keep at it. Whatever it takes, reach out to me. You know, I have a book called The Curiosity Theory. Live your life from a curious standpoint. If there's something you're up to, apply curiosity and see if that makes a difference for you. Thanks a lot. Talk to you later.